Hi, I'm Sinead, and today I'm going to be talking to you about language from films. So I guess you've probably watched a lot of films, and I guess that a lot of those films are in English, right? And I would also guess that you learned a lot of phrases in English from watching these films. So today I'm going to give you a how-to guide on the top 10 most common phrases used in English language films. I'm going to say the phrase. I'll give you some time to think about a movie that you've heard it in. And I'll give you some examples of movies that I know that have this phrase. I will then tell you the meaning of the phrase and whether you can use this phrase in everyday English or if it should stay in Hollywood. Before I begin, I just want to say that it is completely okay to use the word film or movie. I can't decide which I prefer. I'm British, so I like film. However, I say movie a lot too. So you will hear me use both words in this video. So don't get confused, it's the same thing. Okay, so number 10, the first phrase. It's not what it looks like. This phrase is used in lots of films. For example, American Pie, a very funny film. This phrase is used when a character is doing something that looks a little bad. So maybe something sexual or something really stupid. And another person will come in and see them doing this action. And they say, it's not what it looks like. So if you want to use this phrase, I would say it's okay. It's funny. It's the only way to say what you mean in this situation. There is no other phrase you can use. So everyday English, it's not what it looks like. That's okay. Number 9, something is my middle name. For example, danger is my middle name, or fun is my middle name. You can hear this phrase in Austin Powers, Good Morning Vietnam, and many more films. You would use this phrase when the character wants to say that the challenge or the task that they have been told to do will be no problem because they are very good at this task already. Danger is my middle name. I'll have no trouble at all. So in terms of using this phrase in everyday English, I would say maybe, because you can use it if you are making it very obvious that it is a joke. Because you never really hear this outside of films. So you can say it if it's obvious that you are making a joke about films. But if you want to say it in a serious way, I don't think it would be very good. Number 8, next phrase. I wouldn't do that if I was you. Or, I wouldn't do that if I were you. There are 2 possibilities for this phrase. You will hear this phrase in Scream, in Inception, in Sherlock Holmes, and many, many more. This is something that you will hear sometimes in a horror film. So for example, if the killer is watching the young girl go and lock the door, instead of saying, don't lock the door, I'm in your house, he would say, I wouldn't do that if I were you. This makes it more scary, it's more confusing, it's not obvious, which is why it's used so much. So in terms of using this phrase in everyday English, I think it's okay. Because it helps the person who you are talking to understand that there is a problem, but they can figure out the solution themselves. Number 7, this one's a little rude. You look like shit. So this phrase is used in 28 Days Later, Basic Instinct, and my favorite film, The Fifth Element. It doesn't mean you look like what you find in the toilet, no. It means you look tired, you look sad, anything like you look not so great. In terms of using this phrase in everyday English, I would again say maybe, but really it's not so common and it's a little rude, right? So if you see your boss in work and they look tired, you wouldn't say, excuse me sir, but you look like shit. No. Maybe to your friends. Okay, number 6. I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. This phrase I really like. And it's used in Top Gun, it's used in American Psycho, and it's used in so many more that I can't even think of. I think at the beginning it was used in a serious way. So I would tell you this information, but I would have to kill you, because they would really have to kill them. But now, in things like Top Gun or comedy films, it's used in a joking way. And usually it's used for information that's really not important. So using this phrase in everyday English, I think, is okay because it's funny. So if you're using this phrase in the comedy meaning, you can use it in everyday English.